Betrayal. Unexpected attacks happen. Omni Goku was about to eliminate Black Frieza, who had teamed up with Yujiro the Annihilator. At that moment, Goku is attacked from behind by an unexpected enemy. Goku sees a dark hand that resembles Beerus across his body. Goku, in his Omni Ultra Instinct form, says, "Who are you? Who's here? I don't understand. What do you mean you got here without me even feeling your energy?" Beerus watches and speaks. "So, he was by your side this whole time. You mean this time he didn't decide to stay on the planet of the Destruction Cats? Finally, you are here, Sep." At that moment, Goku teleports and quickly tries to heal the wound that had been inflicted by the mysterious warrior using his celestial energy. A dark-furred wreck cat began to laugh and speak. "If it weren't for me, you'd be in hot water, wouldn't you, Frieza?" At that moment, Yujiro starts to laugh and says, "I knew you would come here. It seems that reinforcements have arrived, because otherwise Panzerot and Zakai would be lost. Haha, good. Zakai, can you still fight?" Zakai, broken and lying on the ground, looks at Yujiro. His body was totally broken by the Kamehameha he had suffered by Goku. Zakai says, "You must be kidding me. As soon as I recover, not only will I finish them all off, I will also finish you off." At that moment, Panzerot, fully weakened, says, "I make Zakai's words my words. I need to recover. I'm very weakened. If I continue on this battlefield, I will suffer the consequences." At that moment, Panzerot observes and speaks. "Who is this cat of destruction? I don't remember him back when Beerus was the god of destruction." Yujiro starts laughing and says, "Good, he will soon introduce himself. Our dear friend Set." Beerus watches and starts to smile and says, "Looks like you've got it all figured out, don't you, brother?" At that instant, Frieza starts to laugh and speaks.
"Does that mean then that you really came? Beerus the Destroyer must be very happy to see you. Ha 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 ha. The legend about Beerus's brother, the third brother of the Cat of Destruction, the one who is truly the most powerful Cat of Destruction. Ha ha! Set is here again. Very insightful. I mean, then it looks like this really is the end for Goku and his friends from Universe 7.
Vegeta was weakened while Goku was analyzing what was happening. Goku says, "But what was it? Does Mr. Beerus have a third brother more powerful than he is? Why didn't he say any of this to us in the midst of everything he told us about the Celestial War? What is happening?" Broly was just watching. Gohan says, "It seems that things are very complicated here. Every hour another warrior from another universe appears. I cannot understand. Each time a different being appears. I need to think. Perhaps if we were in the enemy camp, it would be a good time to retreat. Even the enemies that appear coming here, we don't know them. What is the power level of each one? So it's a little complicated for us to make a decision. Come on, I need to think. Maybe I'm the warrior who has more strategic thinking here for the battle. My father, in many moments, begins to act with emotion." At that moment, Yujiro laughs and speaks. "Haha, we only have a small deal. This is a war. We knew that there would be deaths for both sides. You are already at a greater disadvantage. How about you just let us peacefully capture you, Son Goku? This would avoid unnecessary deaths, at least for the time being." At that instant, Goku says, "Haha, you think you can do what you want here? You will not be able to resolve this situation here with us. We are prepared to die if necessary, but the objective is to finish you off and put an end to this war." At that moment, a great Hakai energy is released in the middle of planet Earth, causing half of the location where Goku was fighting to disappear. At that moment, Goku notices and says, "What was that? Everything seems to disintegrate very quickly." Yujiro starts to laugh and says, "Typical of Set's personality, he doesn't forgive anything." Beerus watches and says, "You damn. You haven't changed at all." Set began to act. Alright partner, why don't you whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos and stay well inside our entire universe of Z Warriors. Let's get back to it. Gohan begins to analyze the situation and speaks. It seems that there is no use, we will have to interfere. Broly using his berserker form and Gohan only using his mystic form. Gohan was out of energy to be able to use his beast mode form. At that moment, Gohan was trying to hit Set, Beerus's third brother. Beerus speaks. Stop it, you brats. If you keep trying to attack with that weakened power level, he will end up killing you in a short period of time. Beerus tries to charge directly at Set, but Yujiro appears and speaks. No way, you said you would fight me, so let's not solve this situation between us. At that moment, Vegeta starts to rage and his body starts to change color. Beerus watches and starts to smile. At that moment, Goku returned again to increase his powers. Yujiro speaks. Like this? Did he manage to get even stronger? Did he manage to raise his power even further? This doesn't make any sense. Moments ago, he had taken Set's blows. Black Frieza just stares and talks.
This is more complex than I thought. Maybe it wasn't smart for me to attack Beerus myself. This Yujiro guy is a sadist and doesn't seem at all that trustworthy. I don't serve anyone's orders. Maybe it's interesting for me to just watch. Ha 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 ha.
Beerus teleports in front of Frieza and speaks. If you have an ounce of respect for Universe 7 and want redemption, maybe I'd change sides here and now. If not, you're about to be eliminated by me, the Great Destroyer. Frieza starts laughing and says,
Well then, Mr. Beerus, of course I'll stand by you. Don't you think I would want to challenge you? You are the Great Destroyer, aren't you? I would never do that.
Frieza, with a sarcastic look, starts to laugh. At that moment, an enraged Goku launches a huge Kamehameha directly at Set. Goku says, Magnified 100 times Kamehameha! Set escapes with great ease. Goku speaks. I'm done with all of you. Mr. Beerus, after we're done with these guys, we need to talk. A large spirit bomb began to be created by Goku. Everyone wonders, how did he manage to make that energy in such a short time? Yujiro changes his face and says, This guy's really crazy. If this power is really released here in this short distance, we will all turn to dust. Haha, it's getting more and more interesting. Just as Yujiro and everyone were going to take the hit in battle, Goku is surprised and says, What can't be? At that moment, Kai, the Angel of Universe 14, appears on the battlefield holding Gorn asleep on his back. Kai says, Ha ha ha, you guys are finished. Gorn, I think the High Priestess would be very pleased to see. This boy has the power of an angelic Saiyan, and I believe that is more than what we need. The Priestess Zakai wanted Goku's power so badly, but she never imagined that she could have a hybrid Saiyan and angel son. This is perfect. Goku seizes his attack and says, What? At that moment, Kai sees that Banzerot and Zakai were completely knocked out on the battlefield. Kai watches and says, Set and Yujiro, I believe that now it will be with you two. I'll go back to the palace of the great priestess Zakai and take these two that are completely destroyed. Wow, what a beating you took. Come with me, Zakai and Banzerot, then we'll talk. Kai continues laughing and says, Ha ha ha, that's because you said you would be the first to capture Son Goku. Goku advances to attack Kai and says, Give back Gorn, you miserable oaf! At that moment, Kai creates a celestial energy and teleports directly to the Grand Priestess's palace. Goku, in disbelief, says, Gorn, they captured you. It's not possible. Gorn, the third son of Son Goku with the celestial angel Vados, was captured. At that moment, Yujiro starts laughing next to Set and speaks. If I were you, I would think more problems to worry about. Set starts to smile, and already on the other side, Yujiro speaks. If you want to go to them, just defeat me. Goku starts to smile and says, You don't have to say that twice. At that moment, a huge explosion happens. Beerus begins to observe and sees that Vegeta's body has received the fury of the Saiyan Supreme God. Beerus says, So that's how the Dragon God Zephyr spoke. The energy of the Saiyan God of War, Yamazaki's energy, is surging over Vegeta's body. Vegeta's body suffered an anomaly and began to turn red in color. Goku watched and spoke. What's happening to you, Vegeta? Grand Priest Palace. At that moment in the palace of the Great Priest, Zakai began to smile and say, It seems that Banzerot and Zaki were saved by sheer luck, isn't it, Daishin-kan? It seems that things were going to get a lot more intense, but now everything is in a better moment. Now everything is so perfect. Let's see the brother of Beerus next to the one who is the most powerful mortal. Yujiro, his arrival on Earth was perfect. The turnaround in battle was perfect. I always knew he could escape any attack. It means that Goku and Vegeta released that damn Dragon Zephyr, and with that his powers got stronger and stronger. I confess that I didn't expect that, but I feel that an energy may be even more interesting than Goku's energy. You lost, Daishin-kan. Now I'm going to bring Zalama back. Everything was so perfect. Fantastic. At that moment, the High Priest with a serious face says, You're talking about the boy, aren't you? I always imagined this could be it. At that moment, Zakai started to walk and distance himself from the Great Priest. Zakai begins to raise his power more and more. Zakai starts to leave the High Priest's palace. Daishin-kan, with a sarcastic smile, says, Haha, you came here in the Celestial War just to face me? Zakai, smiling, responds, It won't be interesting for us to fight. After all, we would have to resolve this at the end of this war. Now I have a matter to deal with directly and personally in my palace. There are warriors waiting for me. We already have your greatest potential. He sure is more interesting than Goku. Gorn, the angelic Saiyan, is now under my hands. Universe 6. At that moment in Universe 6, Cauliflower had shown her new transformation and managed to protect Kale and everyone else. Kaba was fighting all the enemies that will appear. Hit had managed to defeat all the other enemies that were there. Vados, after feeling Gorn's energy, had already realized that something had happened to Gorn. Cypher starts to smile and says,
It seems that Kai did not decide to forgive the boy. What was happening is getting better, sister. This time it was amazing. Good. I don't think there's any more escape. It's time for you to let your guard down and let everything be the way it's supposed to be.
At that moment, Vados gets angry and creates a big planetary attack and says,
Thousand Angel Celestial Sealing Technique.
When Cypher believed he was about to defeat Vados, Vados ends up sealing Cypher right in the room of the gods of Universe 6. Cypher says,
How did you manage to do this?
At that moment, Vados speaks.
I already said, never mess with my family. Gorn, I will save you.
Meanwhile, in Universe 11, the inexplicable happened. The mortal of Universe 11, who has always fought for justice to overcome the strongest enemies, appears. Jiren the Grey ends his fight against Ziel, the one who can nullify even the powers of angels. Jiren and Ziel, the two were lying on the ground. Jiren says,
I said your war was near. You declared your end from the moment you came alone to attack my universe.
Ziel speaks. This is something that is impossible. Can even a god weaken before the determination of a mortal? At that moment, Jiren gets up while Ziel remained down. At that moment, Jiren says,
I never wanted to kill my enemies, but in the faces of justice in a war, it really had to happen.
At that moment, Margarita beside Belmont began to observe that Jiren had finally understood his true purpose. Jiren says,
Field of destruction, justice. Goodbye, Ziel.
Jiren with the fist of justice eliminates Ziel. Has Jiren surpassed a god for the first time? Dispo and Topo appear. Dispo says,
Looks like you got Jiren. Ha 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 ha.
At that moment, Jiren watches and speaks.
If it weren't for you fighting the destruction cats and the other beings, I wouldn't have made it. So we made it. How are the other universes? But we still had a lot of losses. Other universes have already been destroyed. The Likia universe is apparently all devastated, and there is another Supreme Saiyan that for some reason stopped attacking the other universes. Let's hope that soon we will need to get involved again in the battle to help our partner universes.
At that moment, in Universe 7, a big explosion was happening. Yujiro and Set were facing each other. Yujiro, smiling, says, These Saiyans are really funny. Goku got a regeneration skill, while Vegeta is now making his skin turn all red. Does that mean then that these are the Omni powers? Amazing! Yamoshi and Yamazaki's energy and theirs are one. It's actually the mortals who keep challenging the gods. Vegeta watches and speaks.
I'm tired of you.
Vegeta simply looks over to Frieza's side and speaks.
After finishing them all, I won't be as peaceful as Mr. Beerus. I swear I will eliminate you, Frieza.
Frieza with a scared face and ironically says,
What? Haha, Vegeta still recovered and got stronger.
Beerus watches and speaks. Yamoshi's essence and Yamazaki's essence, the two Supreme Saiyans reincarnated in these two warriors. Yujiro starts throwing several blows directly at Goku. Goku this time was already prepared for the battle. Goku says, I already know very well what you are capable of, and I confess that if I raise my powers even more, I will manage to emerge victorious. Goku starts throwing several blows at Yujiro's body. Yujiro starts laughing more and more. After Yujiro increased his power even more, a dark aura caused his body to start getting darker and darker. Goku says, What is that? At that moment, Yujiro, Did you think only you had Omni powers? Now you will know the true essence of my strength. Yujiro starts throwing several blows and exchanging several punches with Goku. Goku creates a great Kamehameha, magnifying 1,000 times, Kamehameha. Yujiro smiles and speaks. Ultimate technique of destruction, Ragnarok. At that moment, Vegeta, who had already awakened his power from Yamazaki's essence, begins to exchange several punches with Set. Set starts to laugh and raises his strength more and more. The moment Set throws a big Hakai at Vegeta, furious Vegeta says,
I was trained by Mr. Beerus. Hakai and I are one. The Ultra Ego possesses the essence of my body, so you will never be able to defeat me. Ha 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 ha! Now I would end you, you miserable oaf!
At that moment, the great power began to be shown. Beerus's brother's great energy kept increasing. Set says, You will never be able to beat me. Can you understand this? I am the creator of the Hakai of the Destruction Cats. Everything Beerus knows until today, he learned from me. Vegeta was no longer the same. Vegeta walks in front of Set and says,
You must be outdated in time. Your power doesn't even come close to the power of Beerus the Destroyer. The whole time you were sealed, Beerus had several battles and training. You've been behind your brother for millennia. For this, you will be destroyed now.
Beerus starts to smile and says, "This time it looks like I won't have time to eliminate anyone from my race." Furious Set charges directly at Vegeta. Vegeta, walking slowly, creates a Hakai energy in his right hand. At that moment, Vegeta says,
This is my ultimate power, Hakai, Fist of Destruction.
At that moment, Set watched and spoke.
It's not possible. How could someone so inferior to you be capable of this?
Set looks at Beerus's face and realizes that Beerus had planned Vegeta's Hakai training, only for Vegeta in the future Celestial War to eliminate his brother so he wouldn't have to do it. At that moment, Beerus speaks.
Now we are equal, Vegeta.
Vegeta eliminates Beerus's brother. At that moment, Yujiro watches and speaks. What? This can only be crazy. He was killed. They ended up with the more powerful brother of the Cats of Destruction. Yujiro starts grinning madly, fighting Goku. Yujiro says, Son Goku, this fight is very interesting between you and me. But as crazy as I am, I would never want to fight several beings as powerful as you together. I'm going to go back to the Mother of Angels. She'll be very happy to know about those omni powers from all of you. Invading the enemy's territory in a war is really crazy, and you still had the help of the Dragon Balls. Soon you will have surprises. Goku watches and speaks. Wait, come back here, you bastard! At that instant, Beerus says, It's no use. Don't even bother with it. Yujiro runs away with several destruction cats that were on Earth. Beerus says, Now let's finish our task from here. Soon we will put together our next plan. Everyone starts to fight with the remaining destruction cats. The Earth little by little begins to be cleared of invaders. Goku starts watching and speaks. Good. I'm glad we're all okay. The enemy was pretty strong. But now we need to save Gorn. I don't know after how long I'll be able to use my Omni power again. At that moment, Beerus watches and says,
Haha, I have a plan.
Gorn, the third son of Son Goku, wakes up in an unknown palace. The battle that took place in all universes resulted in losses for both sides of the war. Specifically in Universe 7, the battles were more complex thanks to the Z Warriors. A parallel victory of Universe 7 managed to be brought. But even so, the warrior who apparently had the greatest battle potential was captured by the Angel of Universe 14. Kai, the Angel regarded as the strongest in brute strength, captures Goku's third son. Gorn says, What's happening to me? My body feels like it took a real beating. I just remembered the moment when I was fighting that angel. That guy was pretty crazy. He spoke only of subjects as if he was a hero who wanted to protect the universe, and in the end, he was invading our universe. I can't understand. If I'm down here, it means that I lost the fight. Damn it. At that moment, Kai appears and says, You fought me, and you fought bravely, boy. Haha. I said I wouldn't end you, but I couldn't let you win either, so that's why I brought you here. This place is the palace of the great Mother Priestess, the mother of all angels. At that instant, Gorn observes and speaks. You're here again? Wait, so does this mean that I really was defeated? Where are all the others? Kai starts laughing and says, I already told you that you fought bravely. His powers were very high, but there is no angel more powerful than me. Perhaps if you had fought one of my brothers, you could have emerged victorious. But you fought Kai, the Universe 14's most powerful angel. Even the two gods of destruction that came with me took a hell of a beating to the warriors who were fighting alongside your father. I must say that they are very strong. Son Gohan, who is actually his brother alongside Piccolo and Broly and the others, did very well in the first phase of the war. I could have taught them a lesson, but I needed to bring you here for the Mother of Angels to decide what to do with you. Haha. At that moment, Gorn says, I think I was still holding back my powers. Maybe if I hadn't contained my angelic strength and fought 100%, I could have emerged victorious. Kai watches and speaks. Ha ha ha, no way. I didn't use all my powers either. Gorn watches and says, What? This guy looks like he can read minds. What is happening? At that moment, a great voice arises. Ha 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 ha. Perfect to meet you. You are Son Goku's son, aren't you? Gorn observes an angelic female presence and says, Who are you? Kai smiles and says, Calm down. She is Zakai, the mother of all angels. At that moment, Zakai says, I am the mother of the angels, but you can just call me Zakai. I'm here to tell you that we are in a celestial war, and maybe for many moments it is meaningless. I feel that Cypher's energy that fought you a while ago is sealed away in Universe 6 by your mother Vados. Unfortunately, Ziel was destroyed in Universe 11. Zyko next to Zyro so far, they haven't returned. I confess that I still don't know where they are. But you are here with us. You can end this war. You can end it all. Have you ever thought about it? You to the Saiyan with the angelic power we need, Gorn. Gorn with a serious face says, What are you talking about? Days passed. In Universe 7, all the destruction cats and all other beings that were a threat had been eliminated. At that moment, Shenron's magic ended up being undone, and all humans had returned to Earth and to their respective planets. Beerus the Destroyer says, It seems that not even Shenron's power was able to contain all the mortals on the planet it had been called upon to. But still, Goku, we can see that you and Vegeta have become much more powerful. The Mother of Angels seems to have ceased her attack for the time being. What must she be wanting with your son? I could already think of several questions. At that moment, Whis appears in Universe 7. Whis says, I've been looking for some information, Mr. Beerus, and there is someone who knows what we have to do. At that moment, Goku was with all the Z fighters, Krillin, Tenshin Han, Yamcha, Piccolo, Goten, Trunks, Gohan, and the others. Goku says, I have no idea what they are trying to do with Gorn, but I'm sure some sort of blackmail could be going on. We can't let them have it. Vados directly appears in Universe 7 and stands by Whis. Vados says, Son Goku, in fact what they want is to bring the kingdom back from the angels of darkness, and to open that portal would need the most powerful energy of destruction and the most powerful energy of creation. Apparently, Gorn has these powers because he has your Saiyan blood and my angelic blood. Gohan watches and speaks. What does this boy have to do with my father and Mrs. Vados? Goku looks at Gohan and speaks. Haha, calm down, Gohan. It's a long story. Vados goes on to say, they will want to make him strong and make him build great confidence and then sacrifice him and serve as the key to open the portal of the kingdom of dragons against the kingdom of the most powerful race, and thus have complete control over all universes. At that moment, Goku watches and says, What? Miserable. They want to kill Gorn to fulfill his ideals? Beerus says, I always knew and always imagined it could happen. I just didn't think it would happen so soon. Vegeta beside Goku rages and speaks.
If they bring an hour of warriors to their side and attack our universe, it will surely be impossible to defeat them.
Vados and Whis start to laugh and say, Perhaps, if only you were talking about yourselves, you would certainly be at an extreme disadvantage. But now we already have a card that will bring us hope. Some universes manage to defeat some of them, so they must probably be very angry. But to accomplish their goals, they will not be doing anything against these universes. On the other hand, we already have the warriors who will accept to fight until the end. Goku watches and says, What? Like this? Beerus starts to smile, and at that moment, through the celestial cube, all the warriors who had the best performance in the war are transferred directly to Earth from Universe 7. Cauliflower, Jiren, Kaba, Hit, Kale were all gathered. A voice comes up.
Vegeta-san, Goku-san, don't forget about me.
Granola appears, an unusual presence. All the other warriors who had fought emerge. Incredibly, Frieza was beside them. Vegeta says,
"What is that bastard doing here?"
At that moment, Vado speaks. Frieza only attacked you for a plan that he had been granted to carry out himself. He was able to understand more about the enemy and passed all this information on to us. So oddly enough, Frieza is not the enemy, at least for now. In fact, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have been able to put together this strategy. Frieza starts laughing.
Just see, Vegeta. Our fight will have to wait for later.
At that moment, Cauliflower looks at Goku and says, Grandpa, I'm sure you must have gotten much stronger, but I managed to raise my power to unimaginable levels. Goku starts to smile and says, Haha, you are all here now. I'm sure we have high chances of winning. You managed to get much stronger. Gohan starts to smile next to Broly. It seems that hope for a Universe 7 and all universes had been created. At that moment, Beerus and Whis begin to analyze the situation. Beerus says, I have a plan. At that moment, everyone watches. Beerus speaks. They know that because of the great mighty warriors that exist here, and the hope factor for the battle makes everyone stronger. So by that factor, they just knew things were going to get more and more intriguing. This way we couldn't leave it beaten. Banzerot and Zaki, who are considered the ultimate Saiyans, due to having fought all Saiyans in the end, they let their guard down and ended up being defeated. But still, in this territory, they only managed to use 30% of their powers. Do you see that? But we have already proved that our level of resilience is the highest. This time they had attacked our universe. Now, we're going to do the opposite. We will attack theirs. The advantage and all the risk will be ours. Beerus starts to smile. Goku and all other Z fighters are excited. Goku says, So it will be this time that we will end this war and save Gorn. Grand Priest Palace. The High Priest looks at Zeno-sama's guards and says,
It seems that the flame of hope has returned again, but we have a problem.
At that moment, Zeno-sama wakes up. Meanwhile, in the unknown galaxy at Zakai's palace, Zakai alongside Kai starts watching Banzerot and Zaki's body being recovered. At that moment, Yujiro appears and speaks. Looks like things were a lot more complicated. Invading the enemy's territory, and still only with 30% power, makes it very difficult for us to resolve this situation. Kai watches and says, I was at 30% power, and I still managed to defeat this boy. And this boy is much more powerful than the Saiyans you are fighting. You are very weak. At that moment, Yujiro speaks. You think too much, Kai. Soon I will make up with you. At that moment, Zakai starts to smile and says, Our goal is close. We had losses, but this is a war. We have to focus on our second celestial phase. Now that we have Gorn with us, it's only a matter of time before we complete our plan. Everything will start. Let's bring him back, our dear Supreme Dragon, and open the portal to the realms. End of the first arc of the Celestial War. Losses have occurred and a great battle is still at hand. Goku and Vegeta reached their new transformations. Broly and Gohan surpassed their powers even more. What will await us? What will be Gorn's future? To be continued. Alright partner, what do you think of the first Celestial War arc? What do you imagine about all this? Regardless of what it is, it's more than important that you share your thoughts in the comments below so we can get into a crazy debate. whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. That's all there is to it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.